So, Advanced Warfare 2, huh? Earlier this morning, we saw a report hinting that Advanced Warfare 2, a sequel to 2014's first Advanced Movement Call of Duty game, was being greenlit, developed by Sledgehammer Games for their next title in a few years, which would be their cyclical next at-bat in the 3-developer cycle, assuming nothing changes. Now, that feels really weird to consider, but today we're breaking down this report, what's being proposed, and why, admittedly, I'm actually really skeptical of this one. As we go along, drop your thoughts down below. Firstly, would you like to see an Advanced Warfare 2 in the return to advanced movement systems, or do you want to stay boots on the ground similar to more so a modern setting or near future setting? As well, how likely do you think this actually is? Do you think it's gonna happen, or are you like me and skeptical on this one? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts below, but if you enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, and DMZ ahead of each of those launches. But also, for that rare video perhaps talking about Call of Duty and we'll be doing in 3 to 4 years time, like this one. If you'd like to join us on the road to 500,000 subscribers, I'd love to have you. But for now, let's take a look at this odd case of Advanced Warfare 2 potentially returning. So today's report comes from industry insider and leaker we've discussed here on the channel quite a few times, Ralph's Valve. So here's the thing, no matter how skeptical I am, I think it's worth hearing out. Ralph's gotten a ton of stuff right in the last year or so, so while some of these things may change in development, it's fair to give the idea some thought. But Ralph earlier today published a report entitled Sledgehammer Games Developing a Sequel to Advanced Warfare that then followed with the contents of Sledgehammer Games aims to strip away from the World War shooters and instead return to the battlegrounds of the future, ushering back in an era of advanced warfare on the now unified IW 9.0 engine. Leading up to the release of Call of Duty Vanguard, Sledgehammer's narrative team originally had the desire to further explore their world and make several sequels evolving Vanguard's cast of characters. However, with Vanguard falling short of expectations, Sledgehammer is back at square one, tasked with pitching a new idea and trusted with having something conceptually ready to go for executives to give the go-ahead on. Sledgehammer brought to the table the topic of advanced warfare, a departure from the contemporary success of boots-on-the-ground combat, back to a more fast-paced sci-fi shooter focused back on Advanced Warfare's frenzied sense of movement. Then the article closed with Sledgehammer's sequel to Advanced Warfare has been slated to release for 2025, only a year after Treyarch's premium title. So there's a lot to break down here at that. Firstly, Vanguard's sequels. I remember at Comic-Con last year ahead of the launch of Vanguard, before the game was even out, the writing team said that they'd love to expand upon characters further, giving more stories to the Vanguard, and that they had plans for sequels coming up. If this was like 10 to 15 years ago when World War II was the genre in games, I'd say hell yeah. But I remember as soon as that clip came out, I was like, oh no. Dude, people don't even want World War II this year and you want to do more of it? Which, speaking campaign, we're going to touch on it in our year in review video for Vanguard. If it's anything like Vanguard's campaign, I'd pass as is. Listen, I know it's technically spoilers, but guys, we're almost a year in now. I'm talking about this, I don't care. The fact that Vanguard had 9 missions, and quite literally only the first and last missions were the air quote present day and not flashbacks, stuff that actually progressed the storyline of what was being told for what the Vanguard was doing, that really irritated me. I get you want to build out the characters, but dude, at the expense of the story that you set up, I don't get it. Anyways, that's something we can reserve for the Vanguard review, but I will say Sledge absolutely should not, and if I'm a betting man, will not do World War II again. I'm a firm believer in that this wasn't even their intention to do it with this game this year, but instead it was just one of those things they had the bones of and they could complete in a quick turnaround time after the debacle with Raven and Treyarch stepping in to complete Cold War, kind of kicking them off that dual developer launch of what was initially planned for Cold War. So I 100% agree with that part for that report, but Advanced Warfare 2? Don't get me wrong, I definitely play it. I enjoyed Advanced Warfare, but I think the franchise right now is trending in an entirely different direction, maybe even an opposite direction, to make that even remotely feasible. Now, why I'm skeptical comes down to a couple of main things here at this. Firstly, advanced movement was not liked all that much to begin with way back in the day. Listen, I know that you or I may like it. Again, I quite enjoyed Advanced Warfare. I quite enjoyed Black Ops 3. Honestly, I liked Infinite Warfare even to a degree. I was just burnt out on Advanced Movement at that time that I didn't play it. And on that note, Infinite Warfare is probably a great example of burnout that came really quick, but if we look back at Black Ops 3 or even Advanced Warfare, we probably look at those with rose-tinted glasses. I'd say Black Ops 3 is in better standing with the community because it's a Treyarch game, but we gotta remember how many people during the main year of support hated advanced movement systems, especially in Advanced Warfare. They were like, this is not Call of Duty. This is like Halo or anything like that. Because, I mean, up until that point, we had some blockbuster games in the Call of Duty franchise. That was kind of just outside of of that air quote golden era of Call of Duty. To me, it's like looking back at Modern Warfare 2 in 2009 and forgetting about all of the broken stuff in there. Sure, at that time, those broken things probably made it fun, and for many, thruster movement, again, at that time, was a ton of fun, myself included, but I just don't think that it would hold the same weight if re-released today or if in the near future. When greenlighting a project, they gotta take into consideration the masses here at that, and honestly, that leads me to the second reason as to why I'm so skeptical is Warzone, probably the biggest reason, and especially the way that Warzone and the games prior have been dictated in terms of design. Now, firstly, in terms of just Warzone overall, we have a massive investment into Warzone, probably like never before so far. I mean, right now, yes, we're going into Warzone 2, but they kind of worked out what they need to do for Warzone 2 in terms of making its own application, making sure everything's on a unified engine so that there's no hiccups in terms of integrations in the future and stuff like that. So how in the world do you integrate a future era game with different movement mechanics, futuristic weapons, and all that kind of stuff while keeping Warzone the same unless you change that fundamentally as well, which I don't think that they do, and for the reasonings that the games try to cater to the larger audience now at this point. There has, in the last couple of years, been such a heavy push towards the casual experience, sometimes at the expense of veteran and good players, the specifics of which we can debate at any other time, not in this video though, not really the focal point here for that. But especially with a lot of the discussion around Modern Warfare 2 seemingly pushing this envelope a little further in regards to catering towards that casual experience, when these games as of late are trending towards that and player retention, bringing those casuals back, bring the gameplay down in a sense. You think they're going to add a skill gap of advanced movement into the fold there? You think that's going to happen? Because I definitely don't. And if they ever did do the skill-based matchmaking that we see now, you think that's bad? To account for an entire additional vertical axis in terms of movement and what players could do, that would be cranked up to like 20, not just 11. So that's something that I'm very skeptical on as well. But beyond that, a 2-year dev support window that we have for Modern Warfare 2 seemed to be one of the things that was enticing to the Call of Duty franchise going forward from other reports. The Treyarch would apparently have 2 years of support as a sort of main game for whatever Black Ops game comes next. But with this report stating that Advanced Warfare 2, if it does come, would happen in 2025, that kind of chucks that out the window now also. So, I mean, I guess all of this could be just, well, you're skeptical, but it could absolutely still happen. That is absolutely still a possibility. I'm not saying that this isn't going to happen. It's just, I don't know if I necessarily believe it right now based off of one singular report. And am I alone in thinking this is kind of a bit out there and might not happen? Probably not. I mean, sure, you and I may agree on this, but also Charlie Intel has, since this recording started, came out and mentioned that that's not what he's heard in regards to the plans for what's up next for Sledgehammer either. And knowing the guy well who runs it, knowing who he's in tune with, it just kind of further backs my skepticism on the initial report. So for that, it's a rumor right now, interesting no less, but take it how you will, and of course, take it with a massive grain of salt. We're still 3 years out from this if it ever does actually happen, so there's a lot of variables here that could go into this. We have no idea, but very interesting to wake up to this report here and see. So I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback down below. What do you guys think in here? Do you think it's going to be Advanced Warfare 2? And a step further, do you want it to be Advanced Warfare 2? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts below. But if you enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on the video. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing running all things Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, DMZ. We have so much upcoming with Modern Warfare 2 here in the next couple of weeks to month, so make sure you're here for all of it. But for now, that's what we're going to call it. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.